for Americans. We want American dollars to stay in America. That's how the economy grows. But if I pay an illegal alien and they send 50% of it home, the money doesn't go to American businesses. It goes to another country. Why do we want that? It's a race to the far-left Islamist wing of the party.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
4 of your last 7 governors have all been convicted. Since 1976, 1,800 elected officials in the state of Illinois have been convicted. How many others flipped after indictment like LaShawn Ford? You think they tell the truth when it's an election? You have to be a moron to think the elections in Democrat mafia-controlled areas are anything other than fraud. We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Chicago's air quality is at an all-time low. Data from IQ Air shows the air quality in Chicago was the worst of any city in the world. Chicago's Commissioner of Public Health, Dr. Gareth Walker.
Make sure that summer camp is having an indoor plan and bringing their kids inside. For our most vulnerable, make sure that they're able to stay inside and be able to reduce the amount of exposure.
Quality alert remains in effect today in the Chicago area. The U.S. military is targeting ships leaving Iranian ports, and now Iran appears to be fighting back. The conflict continues to drive up global oil prices. The CDC reportedly closing in on the potential culprit behind a multi-state outbreak of a nasty intestinal illness.
The Washington Post reports health officials are investigating shredded iceberg lettuce supplied to Taco Bell by Taylor Farms as a possible source. I'm Monica Nelson.
And a car plowed into a home in southwest suburban Burbank early this morning. Police and fire crews were on the scene near 82nd and Mason, where a black sedan hit several parked vehicles before striking the building. Cubs and Twins, White Sox in Toronto. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages finishing lower for the day and week as the semiconductor sector continues to drag markets lower and as U.S.-Iran tensions are adding to market jitters. The market's tech-driven rally has been put to the test as companies' massive spending on AI clouded optimism for the AI trade. Adding to worries today, Chinese AI startup Moonshot unveiled a powerful OpenAI model that it says is the world's largest, rivaling Anthropic's frontier Fable model. And Netflix stock tumbled over 7% after the streaming giant's third quarter revenue forecast disappointed investors. The Dow winners, Travelers United Health Group and Caterpillar. The Dow decliners, Goldman Sachs, Home Depot, and Alphabet. The Dow down 407 points, the Nasdaq lower by 362, S&P 500 down 76. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors, to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen tomorrow at noon for Home Answers, right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Level 10 Coatings and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
Shh, here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that is isn't powdered sugar on the floor, it's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Advantage Gold, America's #1 precious metals company, is sounding the alarm that a storm is coming and that now is the time to diversify your portfolio before it's too late. That's why we're offering an emergency gold and silver protection kit valued at $49, absolutely free for anyone who calls today at 800-900-8000. This kit includes critical information for investors with a retirement account seeking to own physical gold and silver, but want to do it tax and penalty free. Advantage Gold has helped investors protect and secure their wealth with physical gold and silver since 2014. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000 and we'll rush your emergency gold and silver kit plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. See how gold and silver can help you protect and secure your wealth with the help of Advantage Gold. Results vary. Consult your tax advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Accident with injuries, US 41 northbound at Clavey Road. Solid traffic from the Eden Spur. Eden's outbound Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 38 minutes, inbound 33. On the Kennedy, outbound from the Burn Interchange out to O'Hare, 46 minutes. Your inbound ride at 1:10. On the Eisenhower, outbound from the Old Post Office to the Jane Addams, 51 minutes. The inbound ride's up to 1 hour and 5 minutes. That accident at Mannheim still there on the right shoulder, causing delays. On the Stevenson, outbound to I-355 is 47 minutes. And the Dan Ryan all the way out to 95th at 24 minutes. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts and hoodies and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and The Shaun Thompson Show when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies with warm and humid conditions with a low temperature of 75. As we head into Saturday, expect humidity with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds. There's a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm in some areas. Keep in mind that wildfire smoke may impact air quality, leading to a hazy sky. The high temperature will reach 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and
We're calling an audible, Squirrel.
And when the band plays Hail to the Chief.
By the time you come to my show, it's the afternoon. We're gonna talk about the ridiculous nature of the propagandists, the Department of Agitation and Propaganda posing as media. I've got clips from election night where they were laughing at the pipes that were mysteriously breaking as they stole the 2020 election. Got that. Very interesting stuff. But, you know, in getting ready and watching all of the news clips, in having our little conversation that we have before the show, because I inundate my lovely honey bunny with a tremendous amount of clips. Tremendous. And I grab them because I want to tie what we're facing together, what we're fighting. See, there's a Cold War in the country, whether you want to admit it or not. Some call it a civil war, but it's not. It's a scumbag thief, treasonous traitor against Americans. And they are in the lead, in case you're not watching. In fact, they control counties that have taken control of states. But to give you an idea of who you're dealing with when we talk about honest elections, fair elections, I said in the tease about Illinoisistan, it's actually a fracking joke. There have been 4 of the last 7 governors that have been convicted of corruption. Governors. There's been, since 1976, 1,800. I want you to think about 1,800 people in anywhere. Pick a room, pick a building, pick a stadium. 1,800 elected officials that have gone to jail in that ghetto. It is a fracking ghetto. Every department scandalized and bankrupt. Their education, get the frack out of here. It is a mill of not just miseducation or undereducation. It's malpractice. The CPS perpetrates malpractice. And what is their standard if they make it past the 10 years? What are those? And when I say those, and you can't speak of everybody in the same thing. All right, 92% of you suck. It's not me that says it. It's the records of what you produce. And I'm generous with 18 out of 100 kids that can read. What you see tear up your fracking neighborhoods and your streets, those are your products. Your products. The ghetto wildings are your products. What are you good for? You're good for excuses and making yourselves rich. And I've got to listen to all this nonsense. Where's the one? Where's the one with the taxing of the million?
You're at home, and to our first guest tonight, you may have deja vu every time you hear about the millionaire's tax. Just a few days ago, we told you a city council committee blocked Mayor Johnson's attempt to get an advisory referendum on the November ballot. That would have asked Chicago voters if they supported a 3% income surcharge on earners making over $1 million. But now that exact proposal is back, not at City Hall, but at the Cook County Board. Today, Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller introduced a resolution to place a countywide advisory referendum on the ballot. It passed, and Commissioner Miller is here with me now. So we thank you so much for your time.
Commissioner Miller, you're a crooked, rat, illiterate whore, economic moron, but you're a millionaire. Just like all the rest of the Cook County Commissioners suck-ons, even ass-face Pete Silvestri. What a crooked rat moron he is. He's from my old neighborhood. Yeah, he is. Scumbag, Cook County Commissioner. And all their pensions, do you know what taxes they pay on them, Squirrel? Guts on ghoul. They pay 0. All of these suck-ons, from the moron teachers to the suck-on Cook County Commissioners, they pay guts on their multi-million-dollar pensions that do not exist. There is no money. They don't invest it. They do nothing. They give it to their half-assed wannabe pansy. And I'm cleaning that way up. Butter-handed gangster pals. They steal the money, and everybody pays the taxes. And it's the same in New York and New Jersey. Here's something that I found fascinating. In Michigan, this is what? The 5th or the 6th time in Michigan. How many ghost jobs would you think are in Michigan?
We cut another 250 ghost employees from the state budget. These were fake workers that they were just using to pad the budget. A lot of them were in Lara. There was a lot of waste in Lara that we got rid of.
So this area, Lara, it can never have an election, ever. It will never be the truth. You're dealing with the scum in the country. You think it's political? What exactly are the nuanced differences between the economics of the American Democrat Party and the so-called Americans who resist the communism, the corruption, the thievery? What is that nuance? Here's the nuance.
You know, we make this rent payment effectively at the barrel of a gun because we know that if we don't make this payment, our landlords can call on agents of state violence and who can use physical force to throw us outdoors. Living on rent strike, right? Like getting to experience having your housing without having to pay for it is one of those like liberatory, is a liberatory vision of home.
Liberatory? Well, what do you expect? She's got no upper lip, pink hair, and she's as ugly as a bulldog's ass. She's an American Democrat. That's what they want. Free rent, free food, You don't think they're going to steal the fracking election to get it? What are you, a moron? Is there anybody out there that thinks these Democrat enclave scum areas, like our own, like crooked rat Cook County, you're gonna go vote? Ooh, there's an election. I'm sure it's going to be on the up and up, just like the 1,800 scumbags that have gone to prison and the 4 rat governors. I'm sure it's going to be on the up and up, but we're going to tax anybody who isn't one of us.
This evening.
Thank you for having me.
You know, as I mentioned just a few days ago, the Chicago City Council Committee blocked Mayor Johnson's version of this referendum. So why do you think this found smooth sailing, essentially, at the county level when it completely stalled at City Hall?
Well, we did have unanimous support at the county today when we voted on this, and basically...
Unanimous support? Even that drunk whore who was banging off the cars, drunk as a pig with the open wine bottle? And some crooked, you hear me? Some crooked rat Democrat scourge in a costume called a robe. A judge. He just kicked it out. So I'm amazed it's unanimous. Because the judge, he's a millionaire too. And you know what he pays in taxes? Guts and ghoul, that frickin' rat pig. Ooh, he's a judge. Is he? Is he a judge? I'm so sick and tired of pretending these scum can take an oath. Hey, you're going to take an oath? Hey, you, dizzy whore who doesn't want to pay her rent. You're going to take an oath? Is it going to be more or less important than your signature on a lease? Whore.
Our movement has a division of labor that includes lawyers. It doesn't privilege lawyers or put them on a pedestal, right? It recognizes that.
Hey, whore, does it pay the slip and fall shyster scum who, instead of using American law as the rule of law, the shield, it uses it as a spear? Does it pay? You know what I like about communism, Squirrel? You could read about it. It's real hard to find. Guess what it's hard to find in Cuba? A lawyer. There are none. They snapped their neck right after they took over the fracking island. Just like in the Soviet Union. Where's all the lawyers? So all the scum, you're scum too, lawyer. You know, Daley was a lawyer too. Couldn't read. He was a lawyer. All the scum lawyers that helped the communists. You'll be the first against the wall, morons. Every one of you morons. I don't know how it ends. Really? We've got 150 years since that fraud bust-out reporter for a New York paper, Karl Marx, the architect of communism, since he developed it. And you don't know how it works? In the meantime, Squirrel, do you know what these low-life rat pigs called politicians, especially the Democrats, a lot of Republicans, but especially the Democrats, you know what they do now? They steal for themselves, like the Duchess of Chaffington, queer as a $3 bill. I don't think she's ever seen a penis. In her thigh rash won't go away. You know what they do, Squirrel? They figure out how to steal money.
Why they did not, I know what's in the Durham report, and I'm going to say it here. I bribed Hillary Clinton $18 million. I facilitated a bribe for Hillary Clinton on January 14th, 2016, right here in this town. On behalf of the FBI, they came to me around December 1st.
Whoa. This would be insane. But that's the CEO, ex-CEO, of Overstock.com. Oh, it's true. His name's Pat Byrne. Looks like he fell off a Lucky Charm box. He could have walked right in a Mike Madigan campaign headquarters. They would have gave him a corned beef sandwich. Wouldn't you? Yeah, you would. Here he is, singing like a canary.
2015, they told me Hillary Clinton had accepted a bribe from Turkey for $20 million. They told me that I would be working for a group in New York, FBI agents, who had authorization to set Hillary Clinton up in a sting. They asked me to facilitate a bribe for her, an $18 million bribe from another government. The bag man from that other government I was to befriend, and I was to get that person 10 minutes alone in a room with Hillary Clinton. I did. On January 14th, 2016, Hillary Clinton was in this.
Did he come out alive? Was he dressed? Were his underwear stuffed in his mouth?
Town, and she met in a way that was kept off her schedule. She accepted an $18 million bribe. But General Barr knows this. This is the Durham. They know this was what is behind it all. And I'll even tell you, I'm going to drop one more thing. I've been waiting to say this publicly, and this is what really happened. I will tell you, if you hear this and you give me 90 seconds, your viewers will understand what's happened in the last 5 years in America. I've been waiting to say this on mainstream TV, and they will not have me back because once they understood what this was about. I had Hillary Clinton. I caused Hillary Clinton. I facilitated a bribe, and she took a second bribe for $18 million. And I worked with the FBI as I did that. They're deeply involved in this. They came to me 3 days later and told me I had to forget about it and forget that it ever happened. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And they gave me one excuse. They said, Hillary's going to win, and it's been determined, it's been decided upstairs, nothing's going to be able to stop that now. So she's going to win, and she's going to send her people over to the FBI and ask who was part of investigating Hillary, and any of us who were part of it are going to be destroyed, and that includes you too, Patrick. And so this mission has been scrubbed from the highest level. And I thought about that, and I said, yes, sir, and I came, but 2 or 3 weeks later, I was back with 3 federal agents this time. 3 federal agents, and I let them know that wasn't sitting, and this is in Salt Lake City, Utah, and that wasn't sitting well with me, and I'd like to know why we had almost a year before the election. They could have had me and another person in front of a grand jury in a week and gotten her indicted.
Patrick Byrne, Lucky Charm, he's in the news again. Oh, for the most outrageous thing. You see, he kept on telling people what he was doing, and he's in the news again. A judge, California judge, Bushy, I believe. I think he was appointed under Reagan, but he was old man Bush's. So a CIA judge trying to shut him up.
In California, a federal judge has awarded Hunter Biden $1.7 million after ruling in his favor in a defamation suit against former Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne. Biden.
Isn't that the darndest thing? That's the darndest thing, isn't it?
The implications of this are, frankly, nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American.
Obama administration allegedly manufactured and politicized intelligence to create the narrative that Russia was attempting to influence the 2016.
Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat her whole life. She ran for the nomination of the Democrat nominee for president. So if you're still calling yourself a Democrat, you're either a thieving rat scumbag or a moron. In either case, you're part of the problem. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Most Americans think of Abraham Lincoln and they think of the Civil War or the Emancipation. But in 1862, he signed another hugely significant piece of legislation, the Homestead Act. It offered eligible Americans up to 160 acres of land, not as a prize for the powerful, but as an opportunity for ordinary families willing to live on it, work it, and build something lasting. Why did it matter? Because Lincoln understood that freedom was not merely the absence of tyranny. Rather, freedom required responsibility, labor, stewardship, and moral courage. A free people must be given room to build, but they also must be willing to cultivate what they have been given. That still matters today. Liberty without responsibility decays. Opportunity without character collapses. Lincoln's lesson is clear. A nation stays free when its people remain willing to work, build, and steward freedom under God.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Shaun Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right. Doing it right since 1959.
AM 560. The Answer.
Stop trying to cheer me up, squirrel. Before the crime called the 2020 election, before the most obvious election theft in American history, that moron was campaigning from his basement. There were so many tells, really.
Here's a story that you told at least 3 times about Nelson Mandela. Take a look.
I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
You now say you weren't arrested and it didn't happen in Soweto. You were at the airport in Johannesburg and you were stopped from going through the door for blacks. I guess the question is, were you confused or were you just trying to embellish a story?
No, what I was doing was talking about the fact that I was strongly opposed to apartheid. When we landed we were going to Soweto, actually. We landed in Johannesburg, and the Afrikaners took me off the plane and took me in one direction, wanted me to go through a white-only door, and in fact, I wouldn't move. I said, everybody else is going through another door. I'm going with the black delegation that I came with. They said, no, you can't. And I said, well, I'm standing here. I'm not going to move. And they would not let me move anywhere. So I guess I should have said I was detained. I was not able to move forward. So what they finally did was they went out and they cleared out a baggage claim area, took us all up through the baggage claim area up and cleared out a restaurant.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. Yeah. No, I just did Chuck.
Everybody who supports that, you're a scumbag. Have I been vague, Squirrel? You're a scumbag. And the only reason you know his name.
Cozying up to Russia? What happened to the Republican Party?
What happened to the Republican Party? Only reason you know his name is that's the first homosexual president ever elected. And to cover up a scandal, Joe Biden's son, may he burn in hell, was the AG of the most corrupt state outside of Illinois called Delaware. And he cooked up and fabricated an allegation and a prosecution against the whistleblower, Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair. Who told you? Barack Obama is not only a homosexual, he likes crack. Just the way it tastes. Scumbag. Glenn in Orlando.
Hey, Shaun, you said there were 1,800 people that have been convicted in Cook County.
Well, no, in Illinois. Illinois.
Or in Illinois.
And that's 1976.
All the ones that got away with it.
Yeah, like LaShawn Ford.
Got away with it.
Like LaShawn Ford. 17 counts, pled guilty to 1. They kicked him, and then all his friends started to get indicted. Like that? You know what that's called? You smell that? You smell that? Bacala and rat. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's the beauty of these pirates. They flip on each other, and that's the game you play. But one thing is for certain, they certainly aren't going to give you the truth when it comes to an election. Thieves! I said thieves. Was I vague, Squirrel? I don't think I was vague, right? Well, why not? The Duchess of Chaffington, after becoming worth hundreds of millions in fraud of the Clinton Foundation, and she was the Barack Obama's Secretary of State. She told him on air, help me, not lose weight. Help me, not sell that I'm heterosexual. Help me.
You know, the only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the fun? And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that.
That's Andy Shaw's son-in-law, right? Oh, no, that's the girl? I can't. How are you going to tell the difference? I think he has more cleavage.
China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax returns? I'm sure our media would richly reward you.
How much taxes did you pay on the bribes? Hey, you fatso! How much taxes did you pay on the bribes?
And they told me, and this is the key to understanding what's happened in America. They told me, this is word for word, Patrick, what's really going on is this. President Obama has his people across the federal bureaucracy at this point, but especially the Department of Justice. Hillary Clinton is going to be president for 8 years, and nothing's going to change that. But think of there being a Bunsen burner within the Department of Justice. That evidence about the 2 bribes you were part of gathering is going to be sitting on the Bunsen burner. And the hand on the Bunsen burner is going to be one of Barack Obama's people. If Hillary's a good girl and defends Obamacare, that flame stays low. If she...
By the way, this is an allegation. Prior to far too big to rig, and when you understand the cheat, you understand if Trump was able to get 74 million votes they had to admit to, he really received 100 million votes. And then comes Tulsi, validating everything Patrick Byrne said.
The implications of this are, frankly, nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American.
Obama administration.
Only the good ones. Only the good ones. After all, the others would rather celebrate. First gay president. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency. Both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
You know, all of the years I lived there, and even now I go back often, going back very soon, I try to control where I go because I don't even like to be around thieving, rat, gypsy, socialists, communists, American scoundrels, and mafia members. I don't. That's what I love about our station. I have pruned this audience, squirrel. Wouldn't you not say so? I mean, if they listen in the dark, in the corner, the way they went to school with a dunce cap on. But us, we're a little family. It's all us. I don't want to feel dirty every time somebody says hello to me. That's why I love when our station has events. And this, my favorite. I'm going to smoke cigars outside. You're going to be there, and it's free. All you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. And it is going to be an experience from 3 in the afternoon. I'm going to get there around 3:15, maybe 3. Till, who knows, till I shake everybody's hand, we meet, and we have a conversation. I hope it's midnight. I hope it's 1 in the morning, and I don't stay up late anymore. But that's what we do. A night of just us. Moron free, gypsy free, thieving free, Rat Fourth Reich member free. Just us. So go there. It's a fantastic place. If you haven't been to the West End in Itasca, it's a beautiful venue. Behind it is called Lakeside Pavilion, August 28th. But we have to know, you have to register because we have to know how much food they have ready and how much drinks. Food will be available. Drinks will be available. We're having a band. We're going to sing the national anthem live, and every guest is going to be there live. You're going to get to meet some of the great people that make this show possible, not just Squirrel Hands and Honey Bunny, and you will need those names, but some of the advertisers who make us stay on the air. Virago, leaving-l.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrado, Unique Wooden Flags, and Class A Insurance owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. I hope I see you there. It's going to be a blast. August 28th, be there. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. When we get back, we're going to go to the lines. I can't decide who's going to lead us off. I think we're going to go with Terry. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Another hot afternoon with smoky air and a high near 90. One person is dead, 3 others are badly hurt after a shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say it was a vehicle that pulled alongside a large group in the 5100 block of South Calumet Avenue. Someone inside that vehicle opened fire, sending 4 victims to the hospital. 1 later died. At least 21 people, 20 of them children, are killed in a school bus crash in Uganda. Britain is about to get a new prime minister. Andy Burnham is being formally elected leader of the governing Labour Party and will take over next week.
I have supported all our Labour leaders in my lifetime because I believe a united Labour Party and Labour movement is the best hope for our country, and I know you believe that too.
Burnham is the former mayor of Greater Manchester. 3 were hurt on a CTA bus in a crash with a truck overnight in Chicago's Ukrainian Village neighborhood. The news, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Your next news is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the afternoon commute with Marty Jones.
Tri-State southbound, an accident just past Dixie Highway off to the left shoulder. I-355 southbound slows approaching 159th. Left lane is blocked with a disabled vehicle. And the accident remains at Lake Cook Road at Skokie Boulevard. Eden's outbound Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 22 minutes, inbound 35. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 40 minutes, inbound an hour 17. Eisenhower outbound to the Jane Addams, 50 minutes, inbound ride an hour 13 minutes. And the Stevenson out to I-355, 47 minutes. On the Dan Ryan out to 95th Street at 21 minutes. DeSable Lakeshore Drive southbound delays. Traffic slows Randolph to Roosevelt. And the northbound traffic is stop and go from 18th to Chicago Avenue. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 75. On Saturday, expect humid conditions with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds. There is a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm in some areas. Keep in mind that wildfire smoke may impact air quality, leading to a hazy sky. The high temperature will reach 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Most Americans think of Abraham Lincoln and they think of the Civil War or the Emancipation. But in 1862, he signed another hugely significant piece of legislation, the Homestead Act. It offered eligible Americans up to 160 acres of land, not as a prize for the powerful, but as an opportunity for ordinary families willing to live on it, work it, and build something lasting. Why did it matter? Because Lincoln understood that freedom was not merely the absence of tyranny. Rather, freedom required responsibility, labor, stewardship, and moral courage. A free people must be given room to build, but they also must be willing to cultivate what they have been given. That still matters today. Liberty without responsibility decays. Opportunity without character collapses. Lincoln's lesson is clear. A nation stays free when its people remain willing to work, build, and steward freedom under God.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560,
The Answer. It's not exclusive by any means to Shirakistan or Crook County or even Illinoisistan. It's anywhere Democrats are in charge. Like even Texas has some Democrat rat counties and towns.
So here's what we know so far. According to court records, Fred Burton was arrested Wednesday and booked into the Fort Bend County Jail on 5 felony charges. Those charges include 2 counts of illegal voting, 1 count of misuse of official information, 1 count of tampering with a government record, and 1 count of fraudulent securing of document execution. Now, the indictments allege Burton knowingly encouraged or attempted to help people vote in Arcola elections when they were allegedly not able to cast ballots. Prosecutors also accused Burton of using non-public information he was able to get as mayor to benefit another person in connection with the city contract. In a separate indictment, Burton is accused of presenting or using fake government records related to an estimate for the Arcola Food Court project. Another charge alleges he caused city council members to sign documents affecting the city's financial interests without their consent. Now, we also heard from residents that the current Arcola City Council member, Alexis Burton, at large position 2, is Fred Burton's daughter. Now, Fox.
And guess what, Squirrel? He's not even a blue-eyed white devil. Corey in Woodlawn.
Oh, Shaun, you have more thought-provoking journalism than anybody I know. What are we going to do with all of this stuff? It's like this stuff. I wouldn't say this on steroids. This is stuff on crackroids.
You know what it is, Corey? It used to drive me nuts, right? And I love radio, man. I mean, I love it. I love it. And I love news. But they compartmentalize the scandal so that you do not have the perspective that you need to see how big the problem is. And the common denominator of all of it is the American Fourth Reich calling themselves Democrats, that mafia party. Now, Republicans are in on it too, but those are the ones that are already nervous. See, the difference is the Republican scum is nervous. They're nervous you're going to find out. The Democrat scum, they hope you do. What are you going to do about it? They got the judges. They're like Don Corleone with the judges in their pocket like chiclets. So, and this is why, 5 years or 6 years ago, when I tried to save you 70% of your net worth, and I told you the problem is too big. You see what's going on? They're going to steal it regardless of any reality. There is no scandal great enough in a state that has convicted 1,800 politicians. No scandal big enough. Look at that Ammons. What's her name? Ammons? That her and her rat husband and the scumbag daughter. That's the family business, baby. They've been stealing for years. They got caught. What are you going to do? You're going to pull a little Shaun Ford? All right, I'm guilty on this charge. Drop the other ones. Get the hell out of here. From soup to nuts, they're guilty. You got to live among the decent when you're decent. Thank you, Corey. No, I love you. Decent when you're decent. When you're not, cozy up. And then go all in, right? I mean, there are guys right now tooling around. What do you got, a Cadillac? Got a Bentley? You're all driving around the ghetto, hoping you don't catch one in the temple. It's the weekend. Terry, Shirekistan.
Hey, Shaun, 3 quick things. I used to know a guy named Raul Santiago. He was out of Keens Old Ward. He used to vote 6 to 12 times each election. Also, I knew the top precinct from Mike Madigan. He used to take the absentee ballots home, steam them open, and change the vote. And when I voted for Trump in 2020, the machine clogged, and the judge took a cell phone, unclogged the machine to operate it, and then my ballot didn't count. And I asked her, I said, how come the number didn't change? She said, oh, they'll do it to the hand count. So everything Trump said last night was the truth.
Of course it was. But, Terry, you know, that's small ball, voting 6 times. What do you think happens when the doors are closed? That's when the real stealing happens. By the way, you know who knows this? The so-called media. This is CBS. Constant bull. Exactly. Constant bull. Shy. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Shy. Constant bull. Here they are laughing when they were shutting down how many of these Democrat dungholes that said they were counting votes for plumbing problems.
Well, we've also got some breaking news right now, so we want to check in with CBS's Mark Strassman. He is in Georgia, where they're having a big problem counting some of the votes. Mark?
Ain't no problem. Take care of it.
This is an election return watch party here on the edge of Atlanta. These are mostly excited Democrats because when's the last time Georgia thought of itself as a battleground state? After record early returns and essentially a day of problem-free voting, there is now a hitch in the tabulation of votes. I'm standing in Fulton County. Fulton County includes a chunk of Atlanta. Downtown Atlanta is State Farm Arena, where the Atlanta Hawks play. They are tabulating the absentee ballots of Fulton County, Georgia's most populous county. A water pipe has broken inside the arena. They had counted 86,000 absentee ballots. We don't know how many more they have yet to tabulate, but all the tabulation of those ballots has now stopped. We're told by election officials they may not finish tabulating those votes for a day or two. So depending how close the rest of the state is, we may not know the result of this critical battleground state for another day or two. That is because, again, a water pipe has broken in State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena is where they were counting the absentee ballots of Georgia's most populous county. And now that tabulation has stopped. Big development here.
But, Mark, do you know how many ballots we're talking about? What that means?
We don't know. We've asked that question, Gail, and we haven't got an answer for that yet. We know that there were 86,000, but apparently it's a very labor-intensive process. And what they are telling us is that it's going to take a day or two, which suggests to me that they have a lot to go.
The irony is that across the country, so many of these major leagues.
Here's what you have to know. It's going to take a day or two because they're Democrats. They got to take their fracking shoes off to count to 10, these morons. It's got to take a day or two because they got to figure out exactly how many lies they have to pretend are votes. They're Democrats.
Sports teams open up their arenas, to allow people to vote, and to do exactly what Marcus said. Tabulate them in a big open space so they can be done quickly, but nobody accounted for the plumbing, I guess.
I was going to say, I'm no plumber, but maybe because it hasn't been used lately. It's not up and ready for the big turnout today.
I think it is. Put this is like when that butter-handed, and Squirrel, I don't want to say pansy. When that butter-handed pansy, trust fund sissy, when him and Blagojevich were laughing about the Sisters Bank and the bribes to Democrats, since JB was fresh out of his diaper, which he may be back in from the looks of it. Oily stool, #1 side effect of that Ozempic.
Perspective. Fulton County is a very, very Democratic county. Hillary Clinton won it by 40 points. So if there is a delay, it's going to be Joe Biden's votes that are sitting up in the air while they dry things out.
But
Like
John Dickerson, I love your knowledge of history. Have you ever heard of votes being delayed because a pipe burst?
No,
you wrote the book.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure there's an intersection between plumbing and history.
I know, but
See, because that was just a fraud. Now fast forward.
Owes President Donald J. Trump an apology. President Trump has been indicted by Fulton County. May I remind you that Fulton County has been found to be in violation of election law, not once for the hand audit, but twice for the machine count. And now we can prove that they had intentional human intervention, which is the predicate for election fraud. You all know our case is SEB 2023, -25. In that case, you know that it involved 17,852 votes counted without ballot images. You also know that for the first machine count, 20,713 ballots were counted with what I like to call receipts. I guess the fancy word is tabulator tapes. And I always like to say you can't get out of Walmart these days without showing your receipt, but for some reason...
Fulton County is what, second or third to Cook County as how crooked, how openly corrupt they are. But takes a lot of scum Democrat counties to get to 81,283,501, which is what these simpletons want you to believe Joe Biden received in the 2020 election. I say it isn't 40 million. What do you think of that, dummy? 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
We work a lifetime to build a legacy for our families. But the most enduring gift you can give them is the peace of mind you provide when they need it most. When you pre-plan your arrangements at Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, you replace the weight of uncertainty with the gift of clarity. Secure today's costs and protect your family from making emotional and financial decisions at the time of need. It's a final act of love they'll never forget. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5400.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Scott Bartmus, co-founder of ESCO, a security and fire alarm services business and a customer of Signature Bank. We work hard to give our customers peace of mind, so it's nice to know that while we have our customers' backs, partners like Signature Bank have ours. When COVID hit, there was a lot of uncertainty for many businesses, particularly surrounding the PPP loan program, with parameters and deadlines changing constantly. The executives from Signature Bank worked weekends alongside their staff, filling out and submitting applications to ensure they took care of us. That type of dedication is hard to find, but we found it with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Adult Beverage Solutions is looking for a brand ambassador in all areas for beverage sampling events. You have the ability to create your own schedule because most events take place Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at local grocery stores and independent liquor stores. Flexible scheduling with the ability to choose events that you would like to work. Receive event pay weekly. State alcohol certification is mandatory for all ambassadors. Must be 21 years of age. Competitive pay with the opportunity to earn bonus for exceptional performance. Each event, you will provide consumers with product education while collecting consumer feedback. If you are interested, our team would like to connect with you about this opportunity. Please email us at careers.abstastings@gmail.com with your information and where you are located, and our team will be in touch soon. Or check us out online at adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now. That's adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your saving? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898.
AM 560.
The Answer. Get someone sneaking round the corner.
NBC News. California firemen giving oxygen to a pigeon as the highway is shut down. That sums it up. Ever tell you that time squirrel I wiped out almost an entire flock of pigeons with a 1978 deuce and a quarter?
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Yes! How else were you going to get elected? Thief, crook, who had soiled his pants and didn't know how he got his shoes on?
My name is Brian McCaffrey. I'm a registered Democrat in the city of Philadelphia. Today, I'm at the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I am overseeing the ballot counters. I will let you know the corruption that is going on here. They will not allow us within 30 to 100 feet to supervise the ballots being counted. This is a coup against the President of the United States of America, and I want to call out the Mayor of Philadelphia, James Kenney, the Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, who tweeted that there's no way Donald Trump can win President of the United States of America, and also...
Well, Josh Shapiro, along with that, you want to talk about a moron, that governor of Arizona, they were in charge of it. They got their promotion. That's called a promotion, Mo. You're from Philly. You know how it goes. By the way, Squirrel, I got a friend of mine from Philly. Greatest guy in the world. It's the same thing he grew up with that we live with. No matter where they are, scumbags, one and all.
The District Attorney of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner. I can't believe what I'm seeing right before my eyes. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden or Donald Trump. This has to do with our democracy, and I will tell you, there is corruption at the highest level in the city of Philadelphia.
People with character versus those without.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
The extremism is for truth. And you live and have cultivated more and more Democrats to accept the lies that you're anything other than a traitor. You're a traitor. Barack Obama is a traitor. Hillary Clinton is a thief traitor who can't keep a 2x4 hard.
MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies.
Wrong. Here's a story that you told at least 3 times about Nelson Mandela. Take a look.
I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
You now say you weren't arrested and it didn't happen in Soweto. You were at the airport in Johannesburg and you were stopped from going through the door for blacks. I guess the question is, were you confused or were you just trying to embellish a story?
No.
See, now in a neighborhood, Squirrel, you never ask a liar, a proven liar. What's the story? He lied to you for 70 years. Now he's going to tell you the truth? You don't know if it's Tuesday or July. He's a thief. How did he own all those mansions? Oh, he's on the shore, Squirrel, like a businessman. Big money. Him and the crack-smoking son, that scumbag buffoon wife. She gets to be a doctor.
I see a yellow duck looking at me. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a... Shut the
Hey! See, that kid's from my neighborhood. That's what you tell a liar. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Andy Ortiz, when I lost my mom, she was only 46. And I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Don't miss Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn every Sunday from 11 to 12. Robert has a different way of looking at retirement from most financial advisors and is happy to share his ideas with you every week. So don't miss what he has to say on AM 560 The Answer. Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn, Sunday mornings from 11 to 12.
Now that summer is here, it's time for some summer home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with Center Guard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. Center Guard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive summer special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I almost feel bad for our next guest, and I'll tell you why. See, I'm a huge fan of our next guest and have been for decades and decades. And he is a wicked smart attorney who has worked on some of the most important cases in American history since the 70s. He really has. But he's going to think I'm going to talk about modern events. Yesterday, we had on Alan Dershowitz, who was the appellate defense attorney for Patty Hearst. Guess who the prosecutor was, Squirrel? You guessed it. Our next guest, John O'Connor, will join us after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, another hot afternoon with a chance of a thunderstorm and a high near 90. Chicago's air quality is at an all-time low, all due to Canadian wildfires. Air quality alert remains in effect. The U.S. military is targeting ships leaving Iranian ports, and now Iran appears to be fighting back, and that conflict continues to drive up global oil prices. Flash flooding in Texas is being blamed for at least 2 deaths. Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Life-threatening, catastrophic flooding remains our main risk tonight and overnight through the early morning hours. There should be a new record set overnight.
2 million people still face the threat of additional rounds of rain. A deadly crash between a motorcycle and a pickup truck shut down lanes on a busy stretch of the tri-state in Oak Brook this morning. Closures lasted for an extended period of time, and an investigation is underway. Cubs and Twins at Wrigley, the White Sox in Canada to take on the Blue Jays. The news a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages falling for the day and week, led by tech as AI spending fears slam the sector. The magnificent 7 big cap tech stocks were mostly lower, led by Meta, Tesla, and Nvidia. Oil gushing to a 5-week high, fueling inflation fears, with West Texas Intermediate crude settling over $82 a barrel. The Dow down 407 points, the Nasdaq lower by 362, S&P 500 down 76. Intuitive Surgical was the S&P 500's worst performer, with its stock tumbling 14% after the healthcare robotics company reported earnings that beat analyst forecasts but failed to raise its outlook. Shares of Sweetgreen surged 14% in snapping a 4-day losing streak after another restaurant chain was linked to the parasite outbreak that has sickened thousands of people. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Shh, here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 2001, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Army Sergeant William Bernard McKenna, exposed to burn pits. McKenna later died from T-cell lymphoma, leaving his wife, Dina, and 2 daughters. Tunnel to Towers honored Sergeant McKenna. They paid off the family's mortgage in honor of all of his sacrifice. Donate $11 a month. If you have a car to donate, if you have land to donate, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org today.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Jane Addams Tollway eastbound slowing at Roselle Road with an accident off to the right shoulder. On the southbound tri-state, traffic still slows just past Dixie Highway from an earlier accident, and then further at Oakton with an accident on the right side. I-8094 westbound delays, that accident causing problems at Broadway. On the outbound Edens, Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 21 minutes. Back in at 29. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 38 minutes. Inbound an hour, 6 minutes. Eisenhower out to the Jane Addams Tollway, 52 minutes. Your inbound ride's an hour and 4 minutes. That accident at Manheim is finally cleared. And the Stevenson from DuSable Lakeshore Drive out to I-355, 43 minutes. Dan Ryan out to 95th, 19 minutes. Inbound at 23. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies with warm and humid conditions with a low temperature of 75. As we head into Saturday, expect humidity with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds. There's a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm in some areas. Keep in mind that wildfire smoke may impact air quality, leading to a hazy sky. The high temperature will reach 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love it, property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, I'll read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
I have to tell you how much I always enjoy talking to our next guest. And the reason that I enjoy talking to our next guest is because it is like talking to a law history book, one of the most important law history books of the 20th century and arguably the 21st century. You see, if there's a law, a big case, and the United States needs to be represented, my next guest represented it. When there was a case where people needed to be prosecuted, my next guest was a prosecutor, defense attorney, prosecutor. And he'll remember this scandal as he was probably in law school.
Johnson won by 87 votes, but the question of a stolen election remained.
You cannot make the statement on the facts that Johnson stole the election. I think you can say it was stolen for him. That's true. But did he order it done? I never could find John Connally down there doing it.
I wasn't within 200 miles of him. I was in Austin, Texas, on a battery of telephones calling all over the state of Texas. I didn't know anything about it. And that's the truth of the matter.
If Homer Dean knew it was stolen, you don't find Homer Dean saying he stole it.
He was behind by over 800 votes. He won after a shutdown of 2 days. Boy, it's eerily similar to what we go through. See, my next guest knows this. He was a prosecutor for these scallywags, and he tried to warn us all. Attorney, historian, important American figure, John O'Connor. How are you?
Shaun, how you doing? I got a news flash for you, Shaun.
Okay.
You know what it is?
What?
There may have even been an election at one point in time stolen in Chicago.
1960. Come on, babe. We've been bragging about it my whole life. I remember when my nana would put the binky in my mouth, they'd laugh about it.
Oh, I thought I was being funny, but you know, let's put it this way, I'm Captain Obvious. I know that.
Well, what's obvious is the tolerance for this skullduggery that the American society has been cultivated to accept. You know, at a certain point, John, you have to recognize we almost deserve it because we're the ones who keep turning to our slave master to tell us the truth, to free us, to give us an opportunity of what this country used to run on, the rule of law. And in these Democrat scallywag areas, from Democrat enclaves in good states to states that have the complete cancer of the Fourth Reich corruption, you almost have to be a fool to think that there is any legitimate outcome of anything, especially an election. That's number one. Before you can steal the policy money, you must first steal the election. I've always felt that way, but I'm from Chicago, and everybody knew there was enough clout and mafia corruption in conjunction with government that they stole a presidential election in 1960. So I'm used to it, right?
Well, you are, but you probably are not a member of my family by saying that, because I'm the only person in my family that doesn't think all the talk of stolen elections is nothing but MAGA propaganda.
Well, you know, the other thing you have to remember is what Chicago also represents is the exportation of the Chicago mafia politics in the form of Barack Obama to Washington, D.C. And the evidence that's come out as a former Democrat presidential potential nominee Tulsi Gabbard told us. That should have been a scandal. You know, we talk about Watergate. You've written a book. You represented, most people don't realize this, you represented the whistleblower, Deep Throat. He was your client. And that was a scandal that the world stopped. And the only reason it was a scandal is because the character of the nation was far higher than it has been since the year 2000, far higher than it has been prior to the Clintons. I believe the Clintons broke the character of the nation. However, when you look at it, to me, you have to be really either in on the scams or a complete moron who doesn't ever even read to think that the Democrat Party has anything legitimate. When we take in consideration the trillions of dollars that had been stolen since Barack Obama, but specifically Joe Biden. Joe Biden added $9 trillion to the national debt, which took this country 236 years to accumulate. It is the largest growth of debt in world history. And $5 trillion of it is untraceable. We don't know where it is. That's why they do it. But first, you must steal the election. Back to square one, right?
Exactly. That's absolutely right. And people don't realize this, but what gets me, Shaun, is that there really is some idiocy about acknowledging that.
Well, first of all, I think what must shock you, being that you have been really in and out of maintaining integrity in the government. That's really what you've done. You've been in and out. And when you look at the fact that the government had become so corrupted and so weaponized, it not only character assassinated, but financially bankrupted Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell. Two lawyers, up until their affiliation with Donald Trump or 2020, were renowned attorneys. Rudy Giuliani prosecuted organized crime. He really was the one who was the architect of the RICO Act and how to wield it and how to destroy organized syndicates. And he was targeted for telling the truth. And there are two frauds in Georgia driving around in his Mercedes wearing his pinky ring. It's upsetting to me.
Well, it should be, and that's exactly what's gone on. It's really terrible. And so the issue to me is that I think you're right. Back in 1972, when Watergate occurred, we had a really good moral country. And the reason people went along with kicking Nixon out is because they believed everything the Washington Post wrote. Today, more people realize that the media is partisan, but at the same time, as you say, there's been a certain amount of, I don't know what you want to say, just acceptance of nastiness. People on the left, especially, well, so what? So what if Hunter Biden's got this deal and maybe maybe his dad knows and maybe he doesn't,
Well, I think there's a beauty, though, to it. And what I mean by that is I think it's very area specific, very cultural, corrupt character specific. I've gone through the elections for 20 years. 20 years, it's the same 347, 420 counties that are constantly at the root of all of these scandals. 90% of this country, and I mean 90, have not ever voted for a Democrat in a presidential election. It's a staggering reality. California is the prime example. 74 counties have never voted for a Democrat. Never for the last 20 years. Have not voted for a Democrat for 20 years in California, 74 counties. So when you look at what we've taken our eye off the ball, is not just the federalism, but the importance of oversight in the most corrupt areas in our country. These are also, by the way, the counties where the money is stolen the most, where all the Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud. California's got a big scandal. $146 billion in 2 years in 2 counties was stolen. I mean, at a certain point, we're going to have to do something about this problem rather than identify it, recognize it. At a certain point, people are going to have to go to jail. And I think, why not start at the top? I really do believe that Tulsi Gabbard solidified our accusations and allegations and really gave us the material to go after the big dogs. I mean, not that sending Hillary Clinton would be to prison would be a bad thing. That would be like sending me to hedonism in '84. And Barack Obama, you could say the same thing. However, why is it that we just accept the fact that at a certain point of political skullduggery, you're too big to prosecute. I don't like that.
Well, it's because there is no one in the media that lets at least half of the country know that there may be a big problem. There's half of the country, no matter what happens, Shaun, you could go to Washington and shoot 15 Republicans and people would have some excuse for it, so you name it. And if you go into some place and yell Allah Akbar and shoot people, well, this is workplace violence. It has nothing to do with anti-Muslim stuff. So it's a media telling us, are you going to believe your own lying eyes? And the answer is always no, you shouldn't.
But the problem too is the people who are in your arena, your profession. I used to have, and you could listen. I had Alan Dershowitz on yesterday. I want to talk to you about Patty Hearst.
Oh, really? Oh, what a great guy.
So this is the point. Him and I said this to him. We've never voted for the same person, but the utmost respect for his intellect and character and understanding the rule of law. Democracy doesn't hold us together. The republic doesn't hold us together. The only thing that holds anyone together is that there is a rule of law. And what we have to recognize now is in these corrupt areas, there isn't a rule of law. The law has been corrupted. So lawyers who take the oath and do all this. And it brings me right back to that conclusion that my grandfather used to tell me years ago. How's a liar going to swear to tell the truth or to uphold the principles of a country? He's a liar. He can't. A liar cannot take an oath. It's impossible. I mean, that's really the crux of it. Just go back to 101, Integrity 101, Character 101. Can a lying, thieving rat ever take an oath?
Well, the problem is if you're lying, thieving oath, you will take a lying, stealing thief, I should say. You can take an oath because you don't believe in it, and you're going to why stop there? If you're going to cheat every place else, why not cheat on the oath?
But it doesn't mean anything, and it's incumbent upon the people who want the rule of law to prosecute, and that's amazing to me because this is the thing. In Illinois, I was reading the stats, before we go on. I knew them, but I wanted to make sure I was right. 1,800 in Illinois since 1976. Now, you and I remember 1976 like yesterday. 1976 to now, 1,800 elected politicians were prosecuted and sentenced and put in prison in Illinois. That's a staggering amount of people. 1,800? That doesn't talk about the ones that plead out, the ones that agree to be confidential informants, the ones that are under investigation. I mean, this is why in Illinois, the state is not only bankrupt and the counties are not only bankrupt and misappropriating funds, but they cannot govern themselves anymore. Thieves cannot govern themselves in the form of righteousness. So these areas must be either put into receivership, but they need to be discounted when it comes time for any election. There should never be an election held in Cook County. To me, it's a preposterous joke. And when I lived there, and I lived there 90% of my life, I would only go there to fight the union moron on the curb that was trying to hand out who to tell you to vote for 10 feet from the door the way they're not supposed to. That's why I went to vote. I never went to vote because I thought my vote counted. I knew it didn't. And if I know this and you know this and Illinois is a joke and Cook County's a fraud and California, certain counties and Minnesota and all the rest of it, let's have a declaration where their votes don't matter. You guys are just always going to be Democrats. You're always going to vote for the scoundrel and the scumbag and the thief. And we're going to count it that way from now on because nothing's going to turn it around when you look at Chicago, 120 years. You know who's running for mayor right now in a collapse of all bureaucracies? Not one Republican. A plethora of legacy Democrat morons who are linked to scandal after scandal after scandal. So it's a guarantee of the continued meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. And it used to be in the good old days, the only city that you would know would reliably cheat in an election is Chicago. Perhaps a little bit of Philadelphia, maybe Fulton County. And, of course, Lyndon Johnson would have a sheriff in a certain county that could do something for him. But most of Texas was clean. Just Lyndon had a couple sheriffs that he could go to. But basically today it's so widespread, it's ridiculous. You look at what happened. They've basically nationalized the Intifada, so to speak. They're cheaters all over the place.
Well, and that's funny because there's a big story in Texas of what happened. But ultimately, what has to happen to save these people who are still decent, I still have friends, dear friends I love, and family members that are trapped in these areas. Ultimately, to save these areas, I think last night was a big step in the right direction. It's the first time a president has ever called an address or even spoken about the evidence that of a past election that is completely and totally corrupted. So in order to move forward, right, to call upon Republicans to pass the SAVE Act, and you see these same Republicans tied to legacy generations of scandal, whether it's Mitch McConnell or his actual assistant, the guy who worked in his staff, now John Thune, who's the now Speaker of the House. In order to do this, I think you need to really take advantage of the principles of our country, which is the federalism, which is the idea that there should be representation. And when there isn't it incumbent on the federal government to do something about these legacy corrupt counties? It's a county problem. It can be solved. And there are states and there are counties within states that have already voted for secession. You know this in California and Oregon and, pick it up, Washington and Illinois and New York and New Jersey, because the good people are trying to do something. But when the people who are in power, at the levers of power, are the ones that are corrupted, isn't it the federal government's job and the lawyers in our country, the good lawyers, to say something must be done now?
Well, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And the question is how do we get that in accomplished? The SAVE Act is not going to be probably enacted.
No.
In places, Shaun, I don't know that you realize this, but in a place like Arizona, which Trump lost by 11,000 votes, 10,000 votes in 2020, they now have a settlement that Katie Hobbs entered into, who, when she was Secretary of State, a Democrat, of course, which allowed people to vote in elections if they're federal only without proof of citizenship. So basically,
if they're
illegal
state
aliens
only.
could
If they're
come into
state only.
there.
State only, I thought, not federal.
No, federal only. Federal only.
Federal?
No, if federal only. Yeah, for some reason, federal only. And that's all they care
How could
about
that
anyway.
be? You nullify federal law, immigration law, and then they get a vote?
Yeah. But federal only, and it's the federal law they're violating, like I say. And how that happened, I don't know. I haven't read the lawsuit or what she settled. But when Trump lost in 2020, to be fair, there were only 1,500 fraudulent votes under that rubric there. Now, in the last election, there was more like 15,000 that came under that specific.
That are prima facie,
settlement.
right? That are unquestionable.
Yeah, so we know there, but of course there are other places that the votes were illegal too. But this was like there was no pretense to it. We're just allowing illegals to vote. Period. It doesn't matter, And so this kind of stuff. Then of course you have the settlement by Brad Raffensperger, who claims to be a Republican, but he's a weak sister, and he rolls over for Stacey Abrams, so that you cannot challenge a ballot in Georgia on the basis of unmatching signatures. It takes just about a federal law to do that. And so guess what happens? In 2020, a county that normally has 6.5% of bad signatures ended up having 0.5% in 2020. That's enough to change that election.
So what about, here's the other way I think to do it is with the money. Because with this corruption, in theory, corruption, fraud, misappropriation of funds by politicians and by the governing bodies and the so-called overseers. That's the other thing. These entities that are supposed to be bipartisan, inspector generals, they're all crooks. And they're supposed to oversee it. The federal government needs to shut the flow of money off, because the other common denominator from all of these scandalous areas of thievery and election fraud and the rest of it, they're all bankrupt. And why should the rest of the country bail this out, or even the future, in the form of debt? I think it's time to really attack the money aspect of it. And, this goes back to my one beef against Nixon that you and I go over with. It was him that, taking us off the gold standard, boom, you open the floodgates to debt. So the reality is, it almost pays to be a scoundrel and scumbag. There's no restrictions on debt. There's no restrictions on the future in the form of debt bailing out your area. And all these areas, I mean, if you look at Illinois, you look at Cook County, you look at Chicago, you look at New York and New Jersey and Philly, Boston. I mean, you could pick any of these areas. They're truly bankrupt. So is that a way to attack it, in your opinion, to really shut it down?
Well, let me make you feel bad here, Shaun. I know this. My late brother-in-law, was a retired teacher, and when when there was a question about whether or not there would be bankruptcy in Illinois, I think there might have been one, but the court ruled that you can't use bankruptcy to in any way challenge or knock down the teacher's pay because it's a matter of, constitutional law in Illinois, whatever. So basically, you can't get rid of a fraudulent, corrupt deal with the union.
That's what it's the whole thing. We have legitimized illegality. That's what Democrats do. Before I let you go, because I wanted to talk to you about this, I really had such a wonderful conversation with Alan Dershowitz, and even though, totally disagree politically, but remember all of the ways in which he really was and is brilliant at his positioning and understanding of how difficult it should be to prosecute, how many rights the individual has and how important it was. And I was reminded he was the appellate defense attorney for Patty Hearst. You were the prosecutor, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I wrote some of the key briefs. I wasn't the top two guys. I worked for one of the top guys, and I was his chief assistant. So I handled the psychiatric preparation. I handled the briefing on on the whole concept of brainwashing. And I also did the Fifth Amendment brief, which got us to examine Patty Hearst on things that she had to take the Fifth Amendment on. So I got lucky to do some really good things there.
And you convicted her. She was convicted. It was Carter that let her out because, Carter was Carter. But what was interesting is to hear him discuss that case, and F. Lee Bailey, who went from prosecuting Manson, right, to be defending Patty Hearst. That's a big transition, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's.
I mean, John, you have worked with the best legal minds against and with. What an amazing, reflective career you must have.
Well, let me talk about Alan Dershowitz. What's great about Alan is he is a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, but he is liberal. He sticks with liberal principles. Conservatives try to conserve truly liberal, not progressive, but truly liberal principles of freedom of speech and all that stuff. He's a real liberal, and he says this stuff is not liberal. It's nasty. It's bad. It's corrupt. And he is the guy that we should listen to this, because you can't say about Dershowitz, oh, he's just a conservative. He's not a conservative.
No.
But his opinions are in line with everything conservatives are saying today. Well, the system is out of whack, and Dershowitz knows it is.
The other dirty little secret that, I've said it on my show. If you believe in the rule of law and the principles of liberty, you, me, Alan Dershowitz, and everybody involved in everything has to ultimately be a liberal in the form of liberty. And that's what used to keep the country together. You could disagree on nuance, but ultimately it was the rule of liberty. It's often called the rule of law, but the rule of liberty that kept us civil and kept people good out of prison and bad in prison. That's what we need to get back to, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Rule of law is what keeps a democracy. If you don't have a democracy, the progressives talk about rule of law, but only when when they say Trump has violated a law.
Yeah. The rule of law wouldn't let you steal elections. It wouldn't let you steal money either. That's why I love having you on. I mean it. I love it. I can't wait for the next time. You stay healthy and you stay principled.
Love it, Shaun. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, John O'Connor. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
My name is Dr. Michael Huber, co-founder of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Virago has earned its place in your medicine cabinet. It's your proven go-to for the flu, colds, and COVID. But you already know that part of the story. But today I want to tell you that if you're suffering from diabetes, hypertension, or autoimmune diseases, we want you to know that they share one common thread. They are inflammation machines. And that inflammation assaults your heart, your brain, and your kidneys 24/7. It's a silent, constant attack on your vital organs, wearing them down every single day. Taking Virago every day shields your heart, protects your kidneys, and guards your brain from chronic inflammation. Virago, the new protective standard in immunity.
Order your bottle of Virago online today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom tonight, there's a chance of a thunderstorm and a low of 73. And there are more air quality alerts in at least 17 states. Fox's Chris Foster has more on Canadian wildfires.
Detroit, Minneapolis, and Chicago have had some of the worst air quality in the world, along with Toronto, Canada, because of smoke from more than 800 Canadian wildfires, a cluster of them in Western Ontario, with dozens of new ones popping up in the last couple of days. All that smoke is blowing across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes into the Northeast, more than 1,000 miles to New York City.
Fox's Chris Foster. A man shot on Chicago's South Side early this morning. The man was rushed to the University of Chicago Trauma Center in fair condition. The U.S. has intensified its strikes targeting Iran. Iran responded with drone fire targeting Jordan and Kuwait. The nation will hear from President Trump tonight. You can hear the president's comments on AM 560 tonight at 8 p.m.
Tri-State southbound accident reported at Dempster with 3 left lanes blocked. On the Jane Addams Tollway eastbound, accident just before Roselle Road is still out there, and now the 2 left lanes have been blocked. Traffic slows from Bartlett Road. Eden's outbound Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 20 minutes, inbound 28. On the Kennedy outbound Burn Interchange out to O'Hare, 40 minutes, and inbound from O'Hare, 53 minutes. Eisenhower all the way out to the Jane Addams Tollway, 53 minutes, inbound still an hour and 2. Stevenson out to I-355, 36 minutes, and the Dan Ryan outbound to 95th, 18 minutes, heading inbound at 29. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 75. On Saturday, expect humid conditions with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds. There is a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm in some areas. Keep in mind that wildfire smoke may impact air quality, leading to a hazy sky. The high temperature will reach 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In DuPage County, regular no lead is $3.77 a gallon at the BP on Devon Avenue in Elk Grove Village. $3.77 a gallon at the Thorntons on Devon in Wooddale, and $3.79 a gallon at the Exxon on Janes Avenue in Woodridge.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for Townhall.com. A new Pew Research Center survey contains a shocking finding. Nearly half of Muslim Americans view Hamas favorably. That's right, Hamas, the terrorist group responsible for murdering at least 46 Americans and taking others hostage on October 7th, 2023. Overall, 44% of Muslim American respondents expressed a favorable opinion of Hamas. This disturbing trend coincides with an increasingly assertive Islamist presence across the United States. In parts of Brooklyn, amplified calls to prayer now ring out from mosques beginning at 5 a.m. They include the declaration, "There is no God but Allah." Religious liberty is a cherished American freedom, but it's time to realize that many Islamists view such public displays not simply as religious expression, but as symbols of cultural and political ascendancy here in America.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Someone texted the show and said there is a Republican running for mayor of Chicago, Danielle Carter Walters. But if I look all over, I mean, she's a lovely girl. That's from Chicago Flips Red, right, Squirrel? I've met only a couple of the girls that are running, and it's a great organization. But as of now, I don't think she's declared as a Republican or even in the race. But she probably is. She probably just isn't getting covered. But what's the Illinois Republican Party? Are they rallying behind her? Can I bet on this, Squirrel, before we get the answer? Can I please bet on it? Please? It's payday. I want to go double or nothing. Double or nothing. Let it ride. Verlon, Michigana.
To answer your question about Danielle Carter, she has not said she was a Republican, but she did declare for mayor. I saw her one of her podcasts, and she said she's declared for mayor, and then she was talking about her background and everything else. And as far as
well, how are you going to flip it red if you haven't declared as a Republican? I mean, is there something else? All right.
I don't know, independent or something like that, but not a Republican. And the last time, hold on. That's my grandson. I'm sorry. But
no, you let that grandson play. Let him slap you in that big head of yours. Go ahead.
And the last time I talked to Jessica Jackson, they showed up at Darren Bailey and what's the other guy name? Oh, Dermar Jackson.
No, not Delmar. I don't think it's Delmar. It's Aaron Delmar. It's not Delmar. Aaron.
Yeah.
What do you got? A little dyslexia going on? Go ahead.
Yeah. Aaron Delmar. They showed up at a dinner that the Republicans was having, and they totally dismissed them. They didn't even want to talk to them. So
they're lucky they didn't get stuck with the check. That's a room full of tightwads that never bought their own dinner. There's a guy in there that never bought his own dinner. Hey, can somebody get a donor to pick this up? Bunch of rats. Go ahead.
So it was two things I wanted to talk to you about real quick. When you and your guest was talking about when you told your guest that you used to show up to fight the union and they had to stand 10 feet away from the curb, it just brought me back like 7 years. That's what I used to do. I used to be with the owner, right? I was like a company guy, and I used to be out there with the owner fighting off the union. And 2 years before I left my last job, the union showed up and they was inside of the job. So I ran to the back and I called the owner, and the owner said, "Calm down, Verlon, calm down. Illinois changed the law. You cannot stop the union from coming inside the job
to love that.
and unionize and unionize the people." And guess what? They came in there, because I used to talk to my fellow employees and say, "Don't unionize," and the vote used to come down to like almost 50-50 and one vote. But when they came in and they talked to the people personally, the union took over the job. You couldn't even fire anybody anymore.
I'm going to tell you give you a little neighborhood slang, all right? So when you see these lambones, it's called lambone. Lambone. Big, fat, cellulite on their neck, big lambone. The union guys are represented by lambones, the business agents. They can't walk. They can't get out of the Buick Roadmaster on their own. They need a couple midgets to come and pull them out. I used to tell them, and they'd have the big leather jackets on. They look like cows. And I would tell them, you think I need you? Hey, stupid. Think I need you to tell me who to vote for? If I want to know where to get a good beef sandwich and not pay, I'll ask your fat ass. But don't you ever tell me to do anything, stupid. I used to love that. I missed it. I might have to go back to the old neighborhood. But November's cold. Ooh, it sucks there.
Well, you got a lot of sheep. You got a lot of sheep now in Illinois. But the other thing that I want to talk to you about, I watch all of the newscasts. They're totally dismissing what Donald Trump said. They're saying that he's saying the same thing that he said last time, and none of the courts saw it his way. They all kicked it out of court. Even all of the new information that he talked about, they're just dismissing the whole thing.
Well, they're co-conspirators. Did you think everybody was going to do a LaShawn Ford and beef on their friends? They're co-conspirators. See what I did there, Square? Yeah, you did it. Thank you very much for that. Rachel, I knew it when I said LBJ stole the election. I knew a little light went off in your head and you were going to call me up. Now, if you say anything more than one LBJ, I'm hanging up on your ass. Go ahead.
Okay. So Box 13 scandal was the 1948 election that you're talking about. And what he did was...
No, not 40. Not 40. That's
48. 1948.
No, I think, dude, it's 58. Go ahead. Or 53.
Okay, I think it's 48. But what happened was the way he did it was he went to he stuffed like 277 votes, and these were all illegal votes off of basically gravestones, okay, from illegal immigrants, okay, that were Mexican. Then they had all these recounts, and it came down to 87 votes. It was 1948, and then he had the temerity to go to his wife, Lady Bird, and tell his family, her family, as you know, owned a radio station.
Right. By the way, you're right.
And what happened was he goes, you make sure you tell them these are legitimate votes. And after they got the 87 votes, that got him over the winning threshold, Coke Stevenson wanted to contest it, and he has an assassin named Malcolm Wallace that goes to Coke Stevenson and says, listen, in Texas, if you want to pursue this matter, you're going to be dead. That's not a threat. That's a promise. That was the maniacal LBJ that basically
first of all,
was at the temperament.
Didn't he whack his stepsister or somebody?
Yeah.
Right? It was standing in the way?
No, his sister.
His own sister.
LBJ had him. He had his sister was full her name was I forgot her name. Anyway, she was a big talker. She was a big drunk, and she did a lot of drugs. Malcolm Wallace, she was in a...
do you know...
She was in an affair.
I'm going to ask you because I know it. And I don't think you know it, tough guy. You ready for this? Lady Bird Johnson's real name.
I don't know.
Claudia Alta Taylor. Do you know why he called her Lady Bird Johnson? Because those three initials are what he hid all the money he put in her name. Her name,
especially
her name is Claudia. How the frack you get Lady Bird? And look at all these imbecile media guys. Did you know that? No. Ask any one of these scumbags. Do you know what $24 million was in 1960? Because that's what that rat pig was worth. Do you know what that was?
Right.
Inflationally adjust $24 million in 1960 today. $200 million. What did he ever do? He was a crooked rat congressman and a teacher. Where'd he make the $20 million, Mo? That's how they did it. They stole money when it was real money. That rat pig whacked his own sister. Ugh. Of course, I didn't know her. Andrew, Cherville.
Why did J.B. Pritzker get kicked out of the motorcycle rally?
Because he kept crushing them with his big fat ass.
Because when they told him it was time to ride his hog, he started boinking his wife.
Oh, that's rough. You're never going to get the stink out of that Harley. Never. George in Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, when that water pipe broke and those votes got all wet, did they call a union plumber?
Of course they did. That's what took 3 days. He's busy. 312-642-5600.
So, how are you doing?
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Most Americans think of Abraham Lincoln and they think of the Civil War or the Emancipation. But in 1862, he signed another hugely significant piece of legislation, the Homestead Act. It offered eligible Americans up to 160 acres of land, not as a prize for the powerful, but as an opportunity for ordinary families willing to live on it, work it, and build something lasting. Why did it matter? Because Lincoln understood that freedom was not merely the absence of tyranny. Rather, freedom required responsibility, labor, stewardship, and moral courage. A free people must be given room to build, but they also must be willing to cultivate what they have been given. That still matters today. Liberty without responsibility decays. Opportunity without character collapses. Lincoln's lesson is clear. A nation stays free when its people remain willing to work, build, and steward freedom under God.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5400 to schedule a free consultation.
AM 560, The Answer.
There's a trans testicle that's going to become the next senator of Maine. Did you see Meatloaf? Poor Meatloaf. He looks just like Meatloaf in a dress. Did you see it, Squirrel? It's absolutely preposterous. And he's perfect for what's Stephen King and the freakazoids who are going to elect the Nazi.
Qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books.
Saturday Night Live has not been this funny in decades. Let's listen to it. This is a grown-ass Meatloaf lookalike standing there in a mid-thigh gown with lipstick on. It's absolutely priceless, and it sums up every one of you red Democrats.
Qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter.
Tourette's on a plane is a little less funny than this, Squirrel. And you know how much I love Tourette's on a plane.
And then I write my own books. With the trans community, like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom. And if they want me to use the men's room, I will, but I don't want to be assaulted.
Assaulted? Nobody wants you in any room, especially a bathroom. Use the forest with the other animals. See what I did there, Squirrel? I think you did. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do? You're going to lock them up? They'll just get back out on the street?
Ms. Orrier, if I could just turn to you. You were President Biden's pardon attorney, is that correct?
I was the Justice Department's pardon attorney.
You made clemency recommendations to the White House whether or not to pardon inmates, is that correct?
My job was to make clemency recommendations.
And in that capacity, you recommended that the President of the United States, Joe Biden, grant clemency to all 40 federal death row inmates, all of them, clear them out, correct?
Sir, as I told Chairman Grassley, I'm not free to discuss the recommendations.
Well, that's what your memo says. I mean, we have your memo. Your memo of November 4th, 2024 says, and I quote, disparity and undue severity of sentence, which are present in many, if not all of these cases, have been recognized as grounds for clemency. And you went on to recommend in that memo and a series of other memos that are now recorded and public record that the President of the United States grant clemency to murderers, rapists, and the most horrible offenders, all of them, clear death row completely out. I'm amazed you've been called here today. I'm absolutely amazed by it. But let's just talk about the people who you recommended. You talk about honoring victims. The people who you recommended get clemency and live at the expense and sufferance of taxpayers for the rest of their lives. Let's start with Dylan Roof. Dylan was a neo-Nazi who murdered 9 African-American worshipers at a Bible study in Charleston, South Carolina, 2015. Do you remember this case?
I do remember it very well.
I would hope you did. Here's his victims. You want to look at them? There they are. 9 of them at a Bible study in a church, killed in cold blood. The DOJ knew from day one that he had decided, I'm going to quote from the prosecutors, decided to attack African Americans because of their race.
And yet,
the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms.
Elected during the dark years where Joe Biden had stole the election is a non-blue-eyed white devil who was elected because of his pigmentation of his skin. He's now a congressman. He's about as smart as Brandon Johnson says.
Sir, you don't really have a clear plan or strategy behind the projects that you're operating. Earlier, Chairman Mast asked you what projects you are most proud of, and you mentioned the Serra Verde project.
An investment in Brazil for heavy rare earths called Serra Verde.
This project will pour millions of taxpayer dollars to support nickel and cobalt production in Brazil. Mr. Black, do you know where this cobalt will be processed?
Congressman, I think we need to take a step back.
No, I asked you a question, sir. We don't got to take a step back. I need you to answer my question. Where is it processed?
Sir, Serra Verde is a heavy rare earth mine.
Where is the cobalt processed?
Not a heavy rare earth, sir.
So where?
Sir, cobalt is not a heavy rare earth.
Please don't serve me.
Hey, moron. Hey, you fracking stupid son of a pig. Cobalt is not what he does. You fracking idiot.
I'm just asking you a question. What's the answer? If you don't know, I got it for you. It's China. So are you aware that China has a near monopoly on process?
I wouldn't let that moron park my car, Squirrel. There he is, making laws. We'll be back.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff, probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
When you factor in the gang control over the ghetto in Chicago, Cook County, and you spread it out to the state of Illinois, is Illinois the number one of the most dangerous gang-controlled ghettos in America? One thing's for certain, the Democrats in charge make it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves, as the butter-handed pansy is going to make it more difficult as he infringes on your Second Amendment. Luis Valdez will not take it. Gun Owners of America, Luis Valdez will join us after Fox.
Day 7. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The U.S. military launching another round of strikes against Iran, targeting an observation tower.
Central Command says the tower was used by the Revolutionary Guard to track vessels on the Gulf of Oman and coordinate attacks on commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Roads and bridges that connected coastal towns Bandar Abbas and Bandar Kamir were hit, cutting the Revolutionary Guard off from resupply. With the blockade in effect, the U.S. says commercial shipping is free to transit the strait, except for any ships that stopped at or are destined for an Iranian port.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. Iran continues to retaliate against its neighbors, Qatar and Kuwait, where one of the country's water desalination plants was damaged. At least 2 people have died in catastrophic flooding in Texas Hill Country. Governor Greg Abbott announcing a major disaster declaration for 28 counties, sending assets to the area.
Altogether, the state has already provided more than 2,700 personnel, more than 1,500 vehicles, more than 90 boats, more than 20 aircraft, as well as many other assets and resources.
Last July, flash flooding in the same area killed 28 people, mostly young girls, at a camp on the banks of the Guadalupe River. Meanwhile, smoke from Canadian wildfires making for poor air quality in the Midwest Plains and Northeast. Taylor Fresh Foods voluntarily removing iceberg lettuce grown in Mexico after an illness outbreak in the U.S.
The cyclospora outbreak has sickened people in more than 30 states, according to the CDC, with more than 90 people hospitalized. The FDA says the contaminated lettuce was served at Taco Bell restaurants in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia.
Fox's Carmen Roberts. Taco Bell says it's completed the removal of all affected Taylor Farms lettuce from its restaurants. America is listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Jane Addams Tollway eastbound, accident just before Roselle Road. 2 left lanes still blocked, and traffic is stop and go from Route 59. On the Tri-State southbound, the accident at Dempster has been cleared. Traffic remains slow from Willow Road. Edens outbound Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 18 minutes, inbound 26. On the Kennedy outbound, 36 minutes out to O'Hare. Your inbound ride 50 minutes. Eisenhower outbound to the Jane Addams Tollway at 41 minutes, inbound still crawling, an hour and 5. Stevenson outbound ride to I-355 at 34 minutes. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts and hoodies and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and The Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies with warm and humid conditions with a low temperature of 75. As we head into Saturday, expect humidity with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds. There's a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm in some areas. Keep in mind that wildfire smoke may impact air quality, leading to a hazy sky. The high temperature will reach 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Shh, here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Did you know a will alone does not keep your family out of court when you die? The court still has to approve your will, but get a living trust, and your estate can be settled clearly without issue. Talk to the attorneys at Nauman & Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee, no surprises, no hourly rate. With decades of experience, they know the law and offer a free consultation. Contact Nauman & Associates in Elk Grove Village, nalawgroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
I think that they will be attacking all of the assault weapons bans with this case that they're taking up. It's clear to me what we're engaging in is assisting the Attorney General in getting outside advisors and counsel for the case before the Supreme Court and making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row to protect the rights of the people of this state that are protected by the assault weapons ban. That is
997 Chicagoans been shot by others. And guess what, Squirrel? That's an improvement. That's how low living in these Chicago areas are. I thought these butter-handed pansies who went to private school could read. shall not be infringed. That's the way I read it. My next guest read it the same way, but he understands what Americanism is. He fought for it. On numerous occasions, he represented law enforcement, and now he is the director of outreach for Gun Owners of America. Luis Valdez, you handsome son of a gun. He's going to keep you busy, isn't he?
My brother from another mother, I keep hearing that you guys have this horrible smoke inhalation up there. Is Pritzker just opening his mouth again and blowing out hot air?
It could be. I don't go there much anymore, but I have to go again. And every time I land in Michelle Obama's underwear drawer known as O'Hare, I would think smoke in the air would be an improvement. But that's just me. I don't like the stink of corruption, failure, and shame. However, I'm amazed at how many times you have taken them to court. One, and he's still going to double down with the ignorant arrogance of pretending anybody is safe. As all of those people who shot 997 Chicagoans, not a one of them had a FOID card.
The interesting thing is he said that how the people the assault weapons ban protects. Last I checked, there's millions of Illinois residents who are specifically having their Second Amendments violated, and they're not allowed to protect themselves because the state won't protect them. Chicago sure as heck won't protect them. So last I checked, that is exactly the exact opposite of what he's claiming the assault weapons ban does, because truth be told, gun control has never stopped anything, because last I checked, and you know this, your audience knows this, criminals are criminals because they break the law. They don't care.
Well, what's amazing to me is growing up in reality and this pretend society that these Democrats keep alluding to, that it exists, whether it's the bald-faced fraud that Illinois and especially the non-1800 politicians who didn't go to jail, 1,800 went to jail, all the corruption that exists, the gang and street control of neighborhoods is absolutely insane. But they pretend that since they've allowed people to own guns with their FOID card program and their concealed carry program, that it has helped the innocent from the predator. That's the most insulting part. They cannot recognize failure as it is killing and wounding and injuring thousands and thousands and thousands. In fact, they tout numbers of 997 shot so far this year as an improvement.
That's the improvement.
Yeah.
Look,
how many Iranians were shot this year?
I saw a news story just recently from one of the local TV affiliates out of Chicago that Chicago PD is specifically violating state law and arresting legal gun owners because their FOID isn't expired. It's that the card physically expired, and the Illinois State Police is dragging their butts in renewing the process. These gun owners have proof that they have renewed their FOID card, and per Illinois law, hey, if you renew your FOID card before it expires and you have proof that it was renewed and you're waiting on the physical card to be mailed to you, guess what? You're not in violation. You possess your firearms. Well, that's not what's happening. Chicago's still arresting them and openly violating their Second Amendment rights.
Well, this goes to
and they're doing this against black Americans.
Oh, listen, they don't care what color you are. It's if you're in the mafia or not. That's the only thing that matters. What's fascinating, though, is I remember, Louis, I was a kid, and they had said, oh, we're going to go do the FOID cards. And I had said to a couple of my relatives and older friends, I think I'm going to go get this FOID card. And the one guy was an older man. He said, listen to me, kid. You tell the government what guns you have and how many you have. You're a bigger moron than I ever thought you were. He was sitting there with 4 guns on him. Not a FOID card in his existence. The idea that they pretend that they're going to stick with and legitimize gun ownership when the reality is it was only to get people to confess on themselves what they had. That's the beauty of Florida. I don't have to tell you jack. I don't need a card. I don't need nothing from you. Concealed carry, nothing. It took a while to get here, but we're here. And this is something to recognize. We're one of how many states where you don't need to confess to the government that you're an American?
You know, there's 29 states where you don't even need a government permission slip now to carry a firearm.
Bingo. That's the only places I want to live. That's it.
We're working on number 30, North Carolina right now. And the most insulting thing is that Pritzker the Hut, in all of his lardness, is still pushing gun control when the U.S. Supreme Court has literally just said, hey, we're going to hear an assault weapons ban case. Oh, and by the way, one of them is from Illinois.
So what does it look like when he loses? I mean, what happens in the interim? So the people in Illinois, once again, the law-abiding, will have to just forego their rights, their unalienable rights, and you have to wait until the Supreme Court hears it. So what do you think, a year and a half before his fat ass is defeated again?
Well, by this time next year, we will have an opinion on AR-15s and magazines on a national level. And just remember, today, the Third Circuit Court out of New Jersey just ruled New Jersey's assault weapons ban is unconstitutional. So now you have a circuit court split. Now you have two cases already going before the U.S. Supreme Court. Oral arguments will be in the fall of this year, and opinions will be out no later than June 30th of next year.
Why do I feel like it's redundant table for two again? Haven't we already beat these cases? Aren't we already here? Is it just the legalese where they massage a word or three, and the next thing you know, you got a new case? Haven't we already defeated this numerous times?
Well, here's the honest truth when it comes to our Second Amendment rights. They are never going to stop trying to disarm us. We are never going to stop fighting them.
Well, I love this, but you know the other reality is, the feds did in 6 days what the existing law enforcement either were unable to do or disincentivized to do. I'm sure you heard this. 6 days, 500 arrests.
To Chicago now, where federal law enforcement agencies have made nearly 500 arrests as part of a historic crackdown. 11 agencies joining forces in the Windy City to conduct an operation meant to take criminals off the streets.
Well, that operation leading to the recovery of more than a dozen children who'd been kidnapped. Federal officials see these joint operations as a blueprint for future crime crackdowns. Our crime correspondent Jason Matera has more.
They got guns and dope. And the reason they did is that for once, the people who are enforcing our laws were confident that the people they arrested would be prosecuted. That's the real difference. And all of these attacks on the Second Amendment, on concealed carry, on all this, it doesn't apply to the favored resident. I don't even want to call him citizen. Favored resident, the illegal who has complete anonymity, doesn't need to identify himself, doesn't need to apply, and is constantly protected by the law and the court system in Chicago, regardless of any weapons he may have on his person at the time of arrest, or who knows what he has. He never told you his name. It's the perfect place to be a scumbag, isn't it?
Well, why would Chicago and the Illinois State Police go after their own supporters? I mean, hell, in most of these cases, it's probably their own family members. I mean,
that's the other problem.
As a former cop, I know there's some good Chicago cops, but man, the stories of corruption I've heard coming out of Chicago and I've heard coming out of Springfield, Illinois, when it comes to the ISP, it is ridiculous.
Oh, come on, for years and years and years. I mean, it's a punchline. And then you realize this all could have been stopped if they would have just had some conscience. You don't have to be Serpico, but you do have to stand on some sort of principle. And they've made it to a certain point when it's so bad, if you want to not be in the terrible areas, I don't know. It's a system that feeds on itself. And then the other side of the coin is, what good is it to arrest them? When you've got 10% of the ones on ankle monitors, the predators, the people who've already been arrested numerous times, 10%, it's in CWB as of yesterday, 10% they don't know where it is. They have no idea where it is. And then there was, I don't know if you heard about the guy. Did you know that Chicago has a one-punch rule? Oh, this is fantastic. A guy from the suburbs was going to the Blues Club. Walking outside, a Chicago public school honor roll student, couldn't read, write, or spell, or do math, punched him in the face and killed him. Because he only hit him one time, he got 4 years. It's the one-punch rule. If he would have hit him twice, they could have charged him with murder. They didn't even charge him with murder. It's involuntary manslaughter. He's got a 4-year sentence. The guy's dead. Kids, job, wife, law-abiding, killed by a degenerate pig who had been arrested 17 times prior. It's almost a punchline.
Well, the most insulting thing is that they let hardened criminals like that out on the streets in short periods of time, while they prosecute law-abiding gun owners and residents and citizens who simply want to protect themselves, protect their family, protect their homes and their businesses and their livelihood. And if you don't have a government permission slip to let alone own but carry a firearm, you go to jail. That is insulting on so many levels because, like you said, 27 words. It ends with shall not be infringed. English is my second language, and I bloody understand what the hell shall not be infringed means.
Well, it's also fascinating to think of, what you need when you're defending yourself against the repeat rapist, the repeat criminal, and what a woman would need, or somebody who hasn't been in enough fights against, say, this guy Ronald Reed. Ronald Reed is a very interesting character. He was arrested twice in 3 days for carrying a machete. Do you represent the rights of degenerate, illiterate Chicago public school honor roll students to carry a machete? I might have a new market for you. Machete owners of America. I mean, what would you do? Here, 6'2", with an IQ of 31, 3 lip piercings, and he looks like he was thrown out of Milli Vanilli, coming at you with a machete. You want to reason with him, or you want to put a 38 in his cheek? Which one do you want to do if you're a woman, say 120 pounds, on your way to your third job in between school classes? Right on the CTA, twice in 3 days. The lack of intellectual argument based on the people who want to weaken the culture, weaken the citizen, and turn them forever into slaves and accept the corruption that is the Democrat leadership, that's the real abuse. And I don't know how they can even bring these cases to any kind of judge with an IQ who supposedly passed the bar. It's preposterous at this point, isn't it?
It's insulting that they have, again, hardened criminals like that out on the streets, and they go after the law-abiding public. Our wives, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, our grandparents, our kids. It is insulting that the most productive and law-abiding sections of society are the ones who are held back and restrained by the law, when the most egregiously violent and degenerate levels of society are given a free pass because, again, criminals are criminals because they break the law. No law that is malum prohibitum has ever stopped a criminal from being a criminal. And here's what it comes down to. Malum prohibitum is the Latin term for it's bad because the government said so. Malum in se is bad because it's naturally wrong. Rape, theft, murder, that's naturally wrong. Me carrying a firearm in Chicago without a government permission slip, I'm sorry, the founding fathers, they just overthrew the crown over something like that. It's ludicrous that you have cities in America and states creating laws that are more restrictive than the British Crown in 1775.
When you're in a society and you're in a region where the government actively and openly works to protect the predator, actively and openly protects the repeat offender, turning them back out on the street, when you have judges that are releasing criminals back out on the street, and the honest citizen turns to the government and says, I need you to enforce the law. I need you to enforce the law. And perpetually is cast in a position where they have no recourse. How much longer? And I'm serious when I say this to you, because I could tell you right now, I got friends of mine that are stuck in the old neighborhood. Let me tell you something. This is not going to happen where they are. And if it does, you will never hear from these guys again. How much longer before my old neighborhood mentality spreads throughout the rest of the city and state? Because that's the only recourse I see. If I were damned enough to not be able to have left, I would be the first guy to put a social club right on North Avenue, with the come in here, I dare you, social club. It has to get to that point where the responsible men in neighborhoods and communities have to start enforcing God's law and the law of the American citizen, isn't it? It has to get to that point. It's almost as if they're pushing you to that point. When you have guys that are arrested 30 times, 20 times, 10% of who they say is on a monitor, they have no fracking idea where it is. You've got a mayor that weakens the possibility of identifying by taking down the technology called ShotSpotter. And you got guys dying on the sidewalks, in the streets, and in the alleys. At a certain point, the men in the community have to say enough is enough now. We're going back to the way it was, and let's start busting everyone's head. I'm sorry, but that's the way it has to go, isn't it?
You know, going back over 100 years, that's why the police state has now existed, and you have this monopoly of force being held by government, because government doesn't want people to independently defend themselves. Because if they're able to independently defend themselves, then they don't need to rely on government. It's a protection racket, just like the mob. You know, they go to the local store owners like, hey, either you pay us protection or we burn down your shop.
Yeah.
Well, the government of Chicago and Springfield, Illinois, you know, the state government, they do the same thing. Hey, you pay us protection, a.k.a. taxes, or we're going to burn your house down. And guess what? In the end, they do it anyways because they have their underlings, the criminal class, out there willy-nilly doing whatever the heck they want anyways. So you're being forced to pay protection, and you don't even get your business protected.
It's insane.
At least the mob was a little more honest.
Oh, yeah, and they were heterosexual. It's a completely different world back then. Here's the other thing I want to say to you. I was pulled over yesterday in Florida. Have you been pulled over since they made it so that anybody can have a gun and you don't need to have these cards and all this stuff? Have you been pulled over since that happened?
They haven't pulled me over mostly because they already know I'm packing.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I was speeding. I deserve to be pulled over. And I have to say something. It's a totally different experience when you are even pulled over by somebody who is of character and knows that you have certain rights. As he approached the car, I had rolled the window down, and he said, sir, before I get any closer, do you have any weapons in the car that I need to be aware of? I said, no, none at all. And I never had been pulled over with a better experience ever. And he even gave me a ticket and was like, this is what you got to do. I mean, I have to say, it's different from top to bottom when you deal with people who have a common understanding of what it means to be an American, to have the rule of law. I think I had been cultivated so long into being absent of that, being an Illinois citizen for so many years. I think Floridians don't have an understanding about how lucky they are. Do you?
Well, there's some parts of Florida that still have issues, but yeah, for the majority of America, they don't have the issue that goes on in places like Chicago, New York, Illinois, Los Angeles, Detroit, D.C.
Which is why, if you're listening in those areas, it is crucially important that you become a member of Gun Owners of America for the price of, now what did they say, Taco Bell has the lettuce, they'll give you Montezuma's Revenge. For a price of 5 tacos at Taco Bell, you can avoid diarrhea and have your Second Amendment protected. Have you thought about making that your new slogan?
You know, I'll think about that one. I like that one. Usually I say it's cheaper to get a GOA membership than me going to Burger King for the family. So
right.
It's still $25 a year to be a GOA member. To sign up, it's real simple. You go to gunowners.org/join. Again, it's $25. Every penny goes towards the fight. We don't fly around in private jets and bespoken suits and have palatial mansions in the Bahamas or anything like that. No, I'm a working class guy. I still drive a working class car, and I wear jeans and a polo, and if I have to go to the legislature, I wear Docker pants and a long sleeve shirt. But other than that, every penny goes towards the fight.
That's very, very good to know. You're not a front for an NGO. You're not smuggling illegal aliens across the border. What you're doing is fighting for the Second Amendment at $25 a year. Unbeatable. Gunowners.org, correct?
Correct. And for your listeners that are in the area, guess what? We are having goals. Gun Owners Advocacy Leadership Summit in Des Moines, Iowa, August 1st and 2nd. And last I checked, that's less than a 4-hour drive from Chicago to Des Moines. Folks,
yeah.
For $25, if you're not a GOA member, you just got to become a GOA member to get in. If you're a GOA member already, you get in for free. You get to meet the entire GOA staff, keynote speakers. You get to see the newest and latest firearms products and industry out there. And you get to bring home some stuff, too.
I think it's absolutely fantastic, and you better do it before that new Illinois toll kicks in. Another 45 cents, so they could steal our money. So beat the race before you're extorted on even the tollway. You're making it just under the wire. So that's August 1st and 2nd, you said?
August 1st and 2nd in Des Moines, Iowa.
I love it. You know how much I appreciate you and making time for me. I know how busy you are. So thank you, brother. I really appreciate you.
Always my brother from another mother. And next time, you need to be carrying, man.
I might have been. Shh. I'm from Chicago. I'm always from Chicago. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Temperatures are rising, and so are concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this summer. VestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through VestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and VestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. VestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
Adult Beverage Solutions is looking for a brand ambassador in all areas for beverage sampling events. You have the ability to create your own schedule because most events take place Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at local grocery stores and independent liquor stores. Flexible scheduling with the ability to choose events that you would like to work. Receive event pay weekly. State alcohol certification is mandatory for all ambassadors. Must be 21 years of age. Competitive pay with the opportunity to earn bonus for exceptional performance. Each event you will provide consumers with product education while collecting consumer feedback. If you are interested, our team would like to connect with you about this opportunity. Please email us at careers.abstastings@gmail.com with your information and where you are located, and our team will be in touch soon. Or check us out online at adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now. That's adultbeveragesolutions.com/join-now.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Most Americans think of Abraham Lincoln and they think of the Civil War or the Emancipation. But in 1862, he signed another hugely significant piece of legislation, the Homestead Act. It offered eligible Americans up to 160 acres of land, not as a prize for the powerful, but as an opportunity for ordinary families willing to live on it, work it, and build something lasting. Why did it matter? Because Lincoln understood that freedom was not merely the absence of tyranny. Rather, freedom required responsibility, labor, stewardship, and moral courage. A free people must be given room to build, but they also must be willing to cultivate what they have been given. That still matters today. Liberty without responsibility decays. Opportunity without character collapses. Lincoln's lesson is clear. A nation stays free when its people remain willing to work, build, and steward freedom. under God.
A Byrna squirrel, you don't really have to tell anybody. I wasn't really lying. A Byrna's not a gun. Just ask anybody. And when I was getting pulled over, I said to myself, where is my fracking insurance card? So I start opening the glove box. Luckily, I find it. I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do if it's not there? I have to call the insurance company, and I get put in queue. The frack is queue. I don't like that queue. You're never going to have to experience it yourself if you call Class A Insurance, run by a father and son, Tommy and TJ Iaquinta, co-owners. Tommy built it when he was very young, and TJ was very little. Built that business up single-handedly. And the reason he was able to build it up is because there are great insurance companies, truly great. And there are great insurance agents that work for those companies. But when you call them, they can have to give you the price of that company. Tommy and TJ Iaquinta, they can price any companies that best fit your needs. They're not hamstrung or pigeonholed by one company. All you have to do is call Class A Insurance, 708-328-5150. You can get an instantaneous quote if you go to 560insurance.com. That's 560insurance.com if you prefer to not call. But if you want to talk to one of the principals and you call 708-328-5150, one of them will pick up the phone. Tommy's the father, TJ's the son. Iaquinta is the last name. Class A Insurance is the company. They can fit your needs at the best price for you. Give them a call at 708-328-5150. Now, when we get back, Squirrel, fast as Shaun radio, 312-642-5600 if you care to participate in the show after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, there's a chance of a thunderstorm tonight and a low of 73. Authorities say a man has died after he was found unresponsive on CTA Blue Line tracks near O'Hare early this morning around 3 a.m. People's Gas has reduced the rate hike request it made earlier this year by nearly 30%. The rate adjustment filed Tuesday reduces the impact on a standard customer's bill by about $48 in 2027. The nation will hear from President Trump tonight in a primetime address on election integrity, and you can hear that address at 8 p.m. tonight on AM 560. It's another rain-soaked day in the Texas Hill Country with dangerous flooding.
We are dealing with and responding to a flood that is likely going to break records.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says in Kerrville, hit by deadly flooding last year, they've seen over 10 inches of rain. NBA Summer League basketball tonight, Bulls and Lakers in Vegas. The news, a service of ExpressPros.com. Visit ExpressPros.com for an office near you. Express Employment Professionals, respecting people, impacting business. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather updates at 560theanswer.com. And up next, the evening traffic story with Jill Urchak.
Tri-State northbound delays, an accident just before Lawrence Avenue over to the right shoulder. On the Jane Addams Tollway eastbound, earlier accident just before Roselle Road. Now the two left lanes have been reopened, but traffic is still slowing between Route 59 and Barrington Road. Eden's, the outbound ride Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 17 minutes, inbound 18. On the Kennedy outbound, the Burn interchange out to O'Hare, 39 minutes. On the inbound ride, 44 minutes. Eisenhower outbound to the Jane Addams, 40 minutes. Inbound, finally under an hour, but still heavy, 53 minutes inbound ride. On the Stevenson outbound, DuSable Lakeshore Drive out to I-355, 26 minutes. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be partly cloudy, warm and humid with a low of 75. On Saturday, expect humid conditions with a mix of sunshine and a few clouds. There is a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm in some areas. Keep in mind that wildfire smoke may impact air quality, leading to a hazy sky. The high temperature will reach 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
2 years ago, Bobby Carpenter completed treatments for knee pain at QC Kinetics. So we're checking in with the former college and pro football player to see how he's doing.
I've been asked a lot, like, how long does this last? How long does it work? I go, I've had mine for a couple years, and everything feels very good. It feels just as good as it did when I started to turn the corner.
Bobby's an active husband, dad, and business owner. That's why 2 years ago, he heard about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments, and he knew he could trust them for his chronic knee pain.
And thankfully, with QC Kinetics, I was able to go through this, and my activities are the same as it was. I'm able to coach my kids in sports. I can play golf. I can go run.
QC Kinetics patients like Bobby don't miss a beat. No surgery or rehab. Just freedom from debilitating joint pain. Ready for lasting relief from joint pain? Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560.
The Answer. I can see paradise by the
Meatloaf! There's a transvestite out there, Meatloaf, stealing your gig. Typical. The transvestite squirrel.
Qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then...
Standing there with mental illness on display, looking like Meatloaf in some sort of mid-thigh skirt. Not a good look, cankles and all. Not Hillary Clinton cankles. I mean, he's not that repulsive. But he's right next to it. You know what's fascinating, too? Whatever happened to all the never-Trumpers? Here's a sentence you'll never hear again, Squirrel. Jonah Goldberg, what do you think? Hey, Stephen Hayes, what do you think? Hey, morons. Hey, Lincoln Project pedophile Republicans, what do you think? You know what sentence you're not going to hear soon? Hey, Tom Massey, stop banging the staffers. No, not this. He married the one staffer. The other staffer he was banging, she brought him up on sexual harassment, tried to settle with it. But now he's got himself a new hairdo and a new suit, and he's looking for a new gig on MSNBC.
But I don't think the problem, is that our elections aren't secure because we control the House, we control the Senate, we control the White House, and
Hey, Tom. Hey, stupid. What about all the areas the elections get stolen that have been destroyed by Democrats for 100 years, like Chicago or Illinois or Cook County or California or New York or New Jersey or Philly? What about that? Hey, Tom, are you so twisted by your new girlfriend? What is she, 29? You used to be your staffer that you're banging now after the wife died. Are you so twisted? Is that suit too tight where you can't think about anybody other than your own hatred and penis envy for Donald Trump?
Some degree, we control the Supreme Court. So I asked my Republican colleagues, why are you complaining about election fraud? We won all the damn elections.
No, you didn't. We suffered under 4.5 years with Joe Biden and Barack Obama. And then you come to think about it. What did you do, Tom? In the grand scheme of things, aside from picking up some young broads, what did you do the whole time you were a congressman? Huh, suck toy? Nothing. You did nothing. Now it's time for a man to talk, Tom. So shut up forever. Go kiss Mitch McConnell's wrinkled ass. Elected by the same morons.
Areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence, finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections.
Hey, Tom! Hey, Massey, I know you're busy. She's 29. You got to keep up. You're on a drip, Viagra and Cialis, aren't you? What about that, Tom? You stupid moron. You intellectually corrupted penis envy moron. What about that, Tom? What about that?
But I don't think the problem is that our elections aren't secure because we control the House, we control the Senate, we control the White House.
What about all the other areas? Stupid. This is why, Squirrel, whenever somebody starts talking to you about these libertarians, between this guy and McAfee, killed his neighbor, and these other schizophrenics, they're just a little bit better than the meatloaf transvestites. Just a little bit.
I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books.
So's Tom Massey. Oh, now I understand. But I paid attention in 2020 to everybody who was bringing information.
Well, I think it's a very significant announcement, not only what he said, but the fact that they are releasing these documents so that we can really fact check the claims we heard this evening. I've been digging into the documents already, and I found this November 2020 email. And it specifically states, it's a conversation among intelligence officials. It specifically states that they have, quote, deliberately massaged one of our pending PDBs, that's the president's daily brief, to avoid.
Now, Congressman, you would have known that, right, Tom? Were you in on, Tom, were you in on that too? What was it, to squash another one of your staffers you were stooping? You wanted to squash that lawsuit? Is that why you kept your mouth shut, Tom? Scum!
Avoid any direct links to the election, and that is consistent with my reporting. I understand the whistleblower complaint alleged, and I think we're now seeing it in the emails, that there was an intentional effort to suppress intelligence about China's influence operations. And this was, Katie, like a massive effort, what they call a multi-domain operation. That means...
Tom, you were there the whole time Biden was in office. Did you work tirelessly to expose the FBI laptop that the FBI had been sitting on? What were you doing? You're stupid. That's right. Staffers. It's Caligula in Washington. Every single one of these morons, every one of them, in their office right now playing naked twister with a 29-year-old staffer. The ones who are heterosexual, well, the other ones too. It's all the same nonsense.
I've never heard a president dissemble, put more falsehoods out than what Donald Trump did tonight. Why?
That's Warner. He's been there for many, many years. In fact, he's been there since Joe Biden was probably laughed off the stage in 1988 for being a plagiarist and a liar.
Here's a story that you told at least 3 times about Nelson Mandela. Take a look.
I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
You now say you weren't arrested and it didn't happen in Soweto. You were at the airport in Johannesburg and you were stopped from going through the door for blacks. I guess the question is, were you confused or were you just trying to embellish a story?
No. That's when a Democrat accuses anybody of lying. When a Democrat accuses anybody of lying, they are the example of fraud, of policy theft. They rule and reside over the areas that are the most expensive, the most corrupt, and they love it.
This was a stolen election.
This looks to me like it is the end of what has been a 4.5, the end game to a 4.5 year long effort to overthrow the President of the United States. It looks like it's exactly that.
They knew they were going to need that room to make up for his margins. And here's where they got screwed up. The margins were much bigger than they anticipated. They were figuring they had to make up a couple 100,000 votes in Pennsylvania, maybe 100,000 in Michigan, maybe 80 or 90,000 in Wisconsin. Now they're looking at numbers like 800,000, 300,000, 400,000. They had to do plenty of cheating in the middle of the night in order to catch up. And that's why they kept the Republicans out.
81,283,501. They're either fake or that's how many scumbags we have in the country. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that,
he's become an enemy of the state.
He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Most Americans think of Abraham Lincoln and they think of the Civil War or the Emancipation. But in 1862, he signed another hugely significant piece of legislation, the Homestead Act. It offered eligible Americans up to 160 acres of land, not as a prize for the powerful, but as an opportunity for ordinary families willing to live on it, work it, and build something lasting. Why did it matter? Because Lincoln understood that freedom was not merely the absence of tyranny. Rather, freedom required responsibility, labor, stewardship, and moral courage. A free people must be given room to build, but they also must be willing to cultivate what they have been given. That still matters today. Liberty without responsibility decays. Opportunity without character collapses. Lincoln's lesson is clear. A nation stays free when its people remain willing to work, build, and steward freedom under God.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your saving? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about by diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898.
AM 560. The Answer.
Кабас колбасит соло, колбасер по пояс голый.
Oh, wait till we go through the books of Ukraine. 4 leaders of the Soviet Union and Ukrainian. We'll get to that later. Who's going to teach that in school? These teachers that are part of the Weingard Union?
To protest together, to vote together, to act together, to bring about change. Real, lasting, life-improving change. That is the power and potential of our movement and of the AFT.
Keep your kids away from these idiots.
You know, we make this rent payment effectively at the barrel of a gun because we know that if we don't make this payment, our landlords can call on agents of state violence and who can use physical force to throw us outdoors. Living on rent strike, right? Like getting to experience having your housing without having to pay for it.
You make the payment because you signed a lease, and your signature is an acceptance of the terms of the lease and an agreement. How is somebody like this ever going to take an oath in a country? They cannot. Their signature, their word means nothing. Their character is that of a thief. They just want an apartment, a sandwich, free education, free health care. They have no integrity.
I read through every state constitution. In 1776, 9 of the state constitutions required office holders to be Protestant Christian to hold state office. 3 said all you had to do was be a plain Christian. Ben Franklin signed Pennsylvania's constitution that said every office holder had to make a declaration of belief in God, creator and governor of the universe, rewarder of the good, punisher of the wicked, and acknowledge the scriptures of the Old and New Testament to be given by divine inspiration. So you not only had to lay your hand on a Bible when you were sworn to office, you had to swear you believed in the Bible. And this was Ben Franklin. South Carolina's constitution says the Protestant Christian denomination is the established denomination of the state. So America was established a Christian nation on the state level. And it was the states that created the federal government, and their fear was the federal government would pick one denomination and make it the national one.
You can only live among the good, the honest, the people with character, whose word means something, whose signature means something, which eliminates the ability to live under the rule of a thief, a Fourth Reich member, or an American Democrat. Fastest show on the weekend. In tribute to the transvestite trying to rob Meatloaf's look, we are going to have Meatloaf sing the anthem. In the meantime, this is our dear friend who has missed every minute of the day, Charlie Kirk. Have a good weekend. Those aren't firecrackers in Chicago. No one's celebrating the country. Serpentine. See you on Monday.
The Chinese Communist Party is the biggest enemy of America, period. Hard stop. I'm focused on Xi Jinping's reign of terror, not Vladimir Putin's at all. Russia could have been a strategic ally and asset to try to crush the Chinese Communist Party. Instead, we've allowed them to grow closer together. China's going to buy Russia's oil. It's going to be a complete and total disaster. And China is now actively censoring information around what Russia is doing, maybe in attempts to try and suppress them coming after Taiwan or whatever it might be. But, you know, the CCP is the biggest threat to America.
And so you've also spoken before how there's kind of been a shift in America's attitude towards China, how maybe back in the day you were seen as fringe for almost bringing that up, but now you're getting like applause. So why do you think there is that shift?
Well, I think people are feeling the impact. I mean, look no further than the virus. The virus that was manufactured in a laboratory and released either intentionally or unintentionally on the world, where we locked ourselves down and destroyed our currency and completely destroyed our civilization. That's going to go down as one of the great mistakes in human history, all because of China. Building islands in the South China Sea, hacking our cyber grid, buying up our farmland, attacking us in more ways than one. The Chinese Communist Party is an enemy of America. It's an enemy of freedom. It's the enemy of the West. And I think Americans are starting to wake up and realize that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? blood stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we who watched, who were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets in glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Tired of posting to your business's social media, but only your employees notice it? Meanwhile, your competitors are winning over customers by racking up thousands of views. At Myers Media, we create social media content that gets engagement and drives sales. Here's how it works. If you're in Chicagoland, we sit down with you and come up with all the ideas. Then we handle the filming, editing, and posting. You don't lift a finger. Out of town? No problem. We build the scripts, coach you through filming it on your phone. Then we take care of the editing